Hey there, and welcome to this week's YouTube video. If you are new here, my name is Aisha. I am an online sales coach and business coach, and I work together with female coaches, female agency owners, female consultants, anyone that is an expert at what they do and they want to sign consistent high ticket clients into their business. I come from the AI product development world and previously having worked in sales, and I started my business last year in 2024, and then I transitioned into full-time online coaching, and I live on an island. In this video, what I'm going to be sharing with you is last month was a great month for me, but also for a lot of my clients. We have, for example, one of our students who is a spiritual life coach having achieved her first 8.5K month. We also have an agency owner that also achieved her first 7.5K month. And we've also launched a 10K in 30 days challenge slash sprint, but we all know it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and everyone has been putting in the work and signing clients. Today, what I'm going to do is to really talk about the process that spiritual life coach G went through for her to go from inconsistently signing clients to actually generating 8.5K in her first 30 days with us, actually, which is really, really impressive. I am so proud of her because I've known her for some time and I know the journey that she has been on. And it's so nice to see her business continue growing and her also growing as a business owner and having that sovereignty, building that sovereignty into her life. So we all know as well, maybe you don't know this, in 2025, from now to 2030, systems thinking is one of the most important skills that is going to be required from you in order to thrive in the workplace. So, as a business owner, that is also super important. It's also one of my skills. So, being able to think in systems, being able to connect the dots in complex information. So, that's also the level we are bringing into this video. So, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through it. All right. So before I go into, um, let's see. Yeah, before I go into the process itself, I'm just going to show you how we got to the 5K. So this is her sending me a voice note about closing her 5K deal. And then this is her telling me about how she effortlessly and easily enrolled another 3.5K client. This is in our native language. So I just wanted to add that there because, in today's world, people really, people have been lied to before, so they don't easily believe. Okay, so from inconsistent clients to an 8.5K month, where she was before was that she was selling her main offer for 1.5K. So already the fact that she was able to not only double but also have a 5K offer was really, really not necessarily impressive because I knew she had the capability to, but it is a big leap because the way you're going to sell a high ticket offer is fundamentally different from the way that you sell lower end offers because there is a higher perceived risk. So your process needs to be able to give people certainty at each step of the journey. So obviously the system that we're going to talk about today is the identity selling growth process. So I'm going to talk about all the steps and I'm going to talk about the input and output of each step so you understand how the system works together. And then I'm going to talk about the implementation side of things. Okay. So definitely put this video on, listen to everything I'm going to say. Okay. Don't skip a step because I want you to understand how this system works. I really want you to understand it well. So even if you have to put it at 2x speed, that's fine, right? That's why I put it on YouTube. So you can also do that. So the first thing that we did for her to actually be able to have a consistent client acquisition process is to tweak her offer in a way that it's delivering an identity elevation for her qualified buyer. What does that specifically mean when I say identity elevation? One of the big mistakes I see with high ticket offers is that a lot of the times people have offers that are a very small transformation, or it's not specifically clear who they will become after they make that investment. And for this particular client, for our student, one of the things about her offer was that it was really past looking. So, hey, heal your heartbreak. And I told her, okay, that's good, but you have to realize in order for someone to make that investment, they want to know who they're going to become after they heal that heartbreak. So we had to get crystal clear on what is that identity transformation that her qualified buyer is looking for. So the input to get to that point is her existing offer, the concept, and after we actually spent 4 weeks on this. Okay, so or maybe 3 weeks. So it was really her thinking, going deep, deconstructing, aligning, shifting things around. Things that didn't make sense had to be shifted so that the output would be the identity elevated offer that speaks directly to their qualified buyer's next level. And I don't know what happened here, her being confident in her offer. So the confidence in offer comes from having the clarity. So that is step one, because even if I give you all the scripts, if you don't feel confident in your offer, if you don't have that conviction, it's just not going to come across, and you're going to avoid sales activities. Okay, so the first thing is the offer. Then the second thing, what we did for her is initially she has been present on different social media channels. So let's say Instagram, but it wasn't really working for her. And her TikTok account was growing really, really fast. So she was posting content on TikTok. And she also started the process of lead generation on Facebook. There is different opinions about this. Personally, at the beginning, I always advise my students to just master one platform, because that's also how I did it. However, as your business starts to grow, or if you have a lot of time on your hands, just make sure that you're omnipresent. And I'm not saying you have to be everywhere, but the last month has taught me actually that, the more visibility you can create in different touch points and different platforms, the better that is to stay top of mind as well. For her specifically, what we did was, the second step is we need to start to capture the attention from her qualified buyers with authority and valuable content. And when I really emphasize qualified buyers, because this is the one thing with high ticket, lead qualification is a bottleneck for everyone, right? So you have to learn how to qualify people before you even have a conversation with them, as well as in the conversation itself. So right now we're talking about demographic wise and how would their social media behavior look like. Okay, so I'm not going to get in depth into that, but essentially the input there is for her to create authority content and have a clear messaging. And one thing that I love that she does is she does TikTok lives, right? So that gets her a lot of leads, and it's also boosting the algorithm because there is activity on her profile. And from there, she has her pathway, which I love when my clients are sovereign. So she decided, I'm going to offer the reading, and then the reading, I'm going to use it to funnel people into the higher ticket one. Okay, so it works. It works for her. The output, however, at step 2 is she's getting engagement from qualified leads. So likes in the lives, comments, people viewing her profile, people DMing her when she has a call to action. So this is what lead generation is with content. It's just about having ways to start conversations. Then we go into the third step, which is to book high quality calls after identity-based qualification. So what is the input there? It's number one, to have a qualified lead list. So you need to be organized. You need to know each week who are the 20 people that I'm going to connect with. And there is logic into determining who should be on that list. Okay. And then the DM script and DM trainings, of course. And then out of there, we have the output, which is the sales calls that you book with identity aligned buyers. Identity aligned meaning that they have the profile of a high ticket buyer. Everyone can have the desire to get the outcome, but not everyone has shown that they have skin in the game. So that's what we mean when we say identity based qualification. After that, we go into the fourth step. So two more steps, ladies. Number 4 is you have to, after you book a call, The way I teach selling is really in a way that you are positioned as a trusted advisor, you are positioned in as an expert, and you are positioned as the person that can help them close that gap. And the best way to do that is to not tell them, but to show them and to let them experience that themselves through an engaging visual sales presentation that's going to inspire them to take action. So the input to get there is actually to prepare that visual sales presentation, which is what we do together with building the offer. And then what was the output there? So the buyers have so much clarity because of the presentation, and their desire has been activated that they're going to either say yes, but they have to fix money logistics, or they're going to say yes and close right away on the call. So for in this particular case, it was a mix of both. So one of them didn't close at that moment, and one of them closed on the spot. And you have to realize when we are selling high ticket, it's okay if someone doesn't have that 5K cash right now. But if they have to look for the money and if they are motivated, they're going to do it. So your job is, oh my God, that was so uncomfortable. Your job is to follow up. And that's also why I added step 5, follow up in the DMs with prospect who said yes and still need to commit financially. So the input is people who said yes but haven't paid yet, and the output is either you have received the cash, oh my God, or you have a follow-up call booked. So essentially, this is the identity selling growth process. So the steps we take, the input for each of the step, and the output. So if you can see, it's just like it's all interrelated. That confidence in your offer gives you that boost for your content to provide value and to build your authority. Because your messaging is clear, people are engaging, interacting with you, and you're also reaching out to people to connect. And then you have your presentation in the back end. So when they step in onto that call, action is being inspired. Okay, so that was the process. And now the last thing I'm going to talk and show you is the identity selling implementation. Because in this industry, it's really not about you having more scripts, you having more frameworks for your content, you knowing all the things, but not being able to do and get results. Okay, so my position in this marketplace is that I'm really focused on action. So I do action-based, action-driven coaching. Everything that we talk about, I want you to implement it. I don't want us to have things that make sense logically, that you feel good, but you're not making money. Okay, so the way we do that is we collaborate. We do role play and implementation, you get feedback, and in that meantime, there's mindset shifts happening. Okay, so collaboration means we have one-on-one calls together to personalize your DM approach, to develop your positioning, because that's super key, and to refine your offer. Okay, then we have the part of role play and implementation, which is also one-on-one, but also in a group setting, to improve your DM call booking rate, as well as do sales role play for you to have that confidence, that conviction in your ability to guide someone towards a decision. Once you do that, we close the loop with feedback and reviews to establish the next step of your growth, because that's the only way you're going to be able to master a skill. It's number one, to analyze your performance and to look at your numbers, because your numbers tell. Okay, and then mindset shifts to develop a healthy relationship with sales. So in this particular scenario, she really had to work to some limiting beliefs she had around closing, right? Because closing is the part where we are asking for that financial commitment. And a lot of the times it can feel uncomfortable when you have limiting money beliefs. And no, I'm not saying we all need to solve it right away, but you need to find a way. You need to find a way that you can manage it while you are growing into your sales leadership. Okay, so how do I stop the share? Yes, so that was what I wanted to share with you. That is actually the process to implement the identity selling growth system in your client acquisition process, as well as how we implemented so you can see how she got to those results. I want to emphasize that it was hard work. She worked hard for this. Like, she worked hard, she took feedback, she implemented improvements, and at each step of the journey, she just she stayed in the game, right? So staying in the game means that even when things might not go in your favor right away, that you trust the process and you trust that it's a proven system, because that's exactly what it is. Now, if you have seen this and you feel called to evaluate how you can implement this system in your business so you can consistently sign high ticket clients, get out of that income roller coaster, and grow as a leader in your business, build your sales confidence, then I invite you to book a call with me down below. If you feel like right now is not the time because you're still in the area of understanding where you want to take your business, you're not super sure what you want to do, that's fine. I also have a Facebook group that you can join and get a lot of insights, trainings, and strategies in terms of selling and selling high tickets specifically. So that's also in the link below. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.